Oh, wow.
First time you've seen this one, and probably since the last time you used it.
Yeah. Rainbow Warrior. We'll leave it at that.
Jack here from the Hall of Fame collection. I'm here at the Mid-Ohio Sportscar Course, and to my left we have Indy 500 driver Scott Harrington, and to the right we have Mid-Ohio's own Tommy Byrne. Thanks for joining us, fellas. So Tommy, start with you. You're working here at the Mid-Ohio Sportscar Course as a bit of a driver coach, or tell us a little bit about what you do today.
Well, actually we do a lot of driver instruction for defensive driving for teenagers, which is one of my favorite things to do. I've been coming here for 24 years now. I'll do anything from 50 days to 120 days a year, depending on what's going on in my life at that time. It's just one of my jobs, but I like it. I like coming here a lot, obviously, and it's just one of the best tracks in the country.
Yeah, absolutely. And for you, Scott, you started here. I think you started the driver school, I believe, back in the 80s.
No, it was in like 93. I think is when we officially started. We had done a fantasy camp with Bobby Rahal, but prior to that, and then Chris Neifel and Brian Till, myself, and Calvin Fish were three of the 5 original guys that kind of started this going. And then Tommy was along right after that. I think it's kind of near and dear to our heart, and this is kind of my home track. I did my first car race here. I did my first IndyCar race here. So Mid-Ohio is kind of a special place.
That's great. And Scott, you've been collecting a little bit of memorabilia recently as well. And
yep.
Of course, you've been buying some in the Ron Burton studio. And we have a little surprise to show Tommy here. That's his helmet, which is going into your collection.
Oh, wow.
First time you've seen this one, and probably since the last time you used it.
Yeah. Rainbow Warrior. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. So most of your helmets were originally white, and then eventually you decided to have one painted up?
This was I always had a white helmet all the way through Formula One until I came to America, and Gary Anderson from the Jordan Formula One fame, he designed that for me. He came up with the idea and designed it, and that was, I think, 1987, I think it was, and that's ever since that I had that's the color I had. This was Sun East was a company, a clothing company. I used to get free clothes from them, so at least I could drive around and look decent.
Yeah, absolutely.
For free.
Yes.
Hey, and it's matches the helmet on the DVD.
I tell you, anybody hasn't seen this movie about Tommy Byrne, pick up your copy, Crash and Burn, because it's really a great movie. It's very eye-opening.
I was a contender.
Yeah.
And I did get to drive Nicky Lauda's McLaren, so I drove the slowest car in Formula One, and 2 months later I drove the fastest car in Formula One, so at least my career ended knowing, and I went really fast in the Nicky Lauda car, so my career ended, at least I knew what I could have done, so we leave it at that.
And it's cool now that we can see what you could have done by seeing these old memories, and of course also in the book, that reveals a lot of other things as well. It's different from the movie, so this is...
The book is probably a little bit more Tommy. This is me. This is a little bit more, cleaner, I think, kind of something like that. But 50 pictures in here, color, black and white. And this one here, there's actually 4 hidden episodes, not episodes, outtakes in here, in this that nobody even can find, and they're pretty interesting. They're kind of R-rated.
And Scott, I think you brought another helmet along here, which is going to go into my collection in exchange for this one.
I need to start a collection.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about this one, Scott.
This helmet was one of my helmets from the year I won IndyCar Rookie of the Year. It's a race-worn helmet. It's kind of funny because I've told a few people, I think a lot of people don't understand at the speeds, the way things work. But this helmet was only worn, maybe 2 races. You can see how pitted it is. When you're doing 200 plus miles an hour, they tend to get pretty pitted and pretty banged up. But you and I have been talking for a couple of years, and you had gotten one of my suits. You wanted a helmet, and and I don't get rid of too many of my helmets. I've got most of my helmets. Got struck up a relationship, and so I figured it's about time to let something go. And then when you had, Tommy and I have been, great friends for a long time. We worked together. He was a few years ahead of me, in his racing career, and watching what he did and the championships he won, certainly was an inspiration to me. So when I saw you had a Tommy helmet, I was like, I really want that for my collection. That's something, especially with the book and the DVD coming out, and the fact that Tommy and I work together all the time. It was just one of those things that I was like, I really had to have it.
I must say that in my career, I give everything away. I kept nothing. I give my driving suits away, I give my helmets away, I give my trophies away, and it's one of the things that really haunts me, that I give everything away, and it would be great to get this back after all these years. Scott, I give everything away. This
is Bleeding Heart Tommy, for everybody knows. You guys didn't realize that Tommy has a second career besides auto racing. He's one hell of an actor. I just had to put that in there. So you guys got a glimpse of that just now.
For the young drivers out there, you want to get with Tommy Byrne and learn the skills of talking and meeting the right people, because you talked your way into a lot of race cars. You came from no money, you got hired based on your talent, which is rare these days for a driver to be able to do. It does still happen, but you made a career out of just basically being fast and building relationships.
No, it's definitely, I mean, it's good to be fast, but it's a lot more involved in racing these days, and even then, you just have to, people have to like it, to move on. You can't make it happen without being liked.
No, and along those lines, I have to say that's one of the things I respect most about Tommy, is that there's nobody that did more and made it further with nothing but raw talent and desire, and and the ability to present himself with a confidence that that he could get the job done, and he backed it up. And so that's one of the things I respect most about Tommy, is the fact that he went way further than anybody could have ever expected, and accomplished so much and so many championships, and beat so many guys over the years on sheer will and talent.
One driver a lot of people like to talk about these days is Ayrton Senna. Of course, he went on to become multiple world champion in Formula One.
I went to see him. We had our issues early on in our career because of whatever, but the fact is that I did need something from him. I think when he was driving for Lotus, and I called Ralph Furman or Angie Furman, and I got in touch with him, and I went back to see him, and we did kind of bury the hatchet, but he did try to help me do a deal in Formula One with something completely different.
Thanks for taking the time to see us, and it's great to let you reunite with the helmet before Scott steals it back to me.
I mean, the thing is, before I take it back to Indianapolis, I got to have you sign it, man.
Yeah,
so
I can do that.
Yeah, right in the middle there, was nice and front and center.
There you go.
Perfect. So, into my collection. Darren, into your collection.
I have to bring mine and give it to Tommy next time.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, guys.